Beloved, welcome back. As a self-appointed field commander of my particular war band, one of the things that I have been lacking has been getting my comm sorted out. What is the military? What do the guys say? Shoot, move, communicate. Well, when the war band finally got invested in night vision, we thought, you know what, that's going to be the end-all be-all. We'll be able to move as a group in the dark. This will be a tremendous advantage. And as soon as we started doing that and practicing and working together, the thing that became obvious was we had a huge problem, and that was lack of communications. Yes, we all had the same radios. Yes, they were all on the proper frequency. But when we got on a motorcycle or we got in a quad or we were trying to move or got separated, we did not have the ability to communicate with one another. Because I'll tell you what, cardinal rule of your war band and mine, there are no cell phones. There are no electronics. There are no nothing. We're going back to voice, face-to-face communications, as well as map and compass. These devices are not to be used, if you know what I mean. But radios are important. So we realized that right away. Trying to do things, complex tasks, and stop and be talking with the radio, and plus all of the how loud it was, was obviously a problem. So I had to look at this, and we finally got things solved, solution. So I will share with you my journey of radios and getting a go-to-war setup. That's going to be mimicking what the professional soldiers are using. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not doing this video to tell you what to do. I'm just doing this video to share with you the mistakes I've made and what we settle on that actually works pretty good. I don't want any elitism. We use Baofeng radios. That's what we can afford. That's what we've got. That's what the war band can field right now. And it's totally serviceable. So I don't want to hear it. You may have bad radios, all the latest, greatest, but we're out shooting, moving, and communicating and using ours while yours sits and you haven't turned it on for a year or two. So I don't want to hear it. So this is what we have. Would it be nicer to have Motorola's or something like that? Of course. But, we're dancing with the one we brought, right? So we're kind of starting with that. All right, so I'll start off, well, I'll just talk. That's what I do. I talk. The first investment I made, I kicked myself. This was right before COVID. I bought a set of Peltors. Now, these are Peltor. These are the 3 series. And I remember very distinctly when I was ordering these, they were about half the price that they are now. I had a choice of getting one with a downlink, meaning with a microphone or not a microphone. And the price was really not that much difference. And I remember wavering back and forth, and I did not buy it. Don't be that guy. Oh, I've kicked myself so many times. It's nice to have an extra pair, but if you don't have, you can have all the features, but not having the downlink of the microphone just wasn't working. We had one of the war band members had a downlink, and I had this, and no one else, and so it just wasn't working. So where I had to start for my system was, and I had to buy another set of Peltors. I didn't want to drop the $800 that they cost, but that's the way it is. So I went and sold some stuff that I don't use anymore, and I thought, would I rather have something sitting around collecting dust or something that I could actually use? So I traded up, and I ended up getting a set of Peltor 5s right here with that beautiful downlink. So when you see these cables hanging, I'll explain all this to you. I'm going to make it simple. I'll tell you where to get it. But if you haven't already, if you're on the fence, whatever you're going to buy, make sure it's got a downlink. This is the important part. This is what you're going to need to plug into your whole radio setup so you can shoot, move, and communicate with your friends. So these are mounted on my M-Tech helmet. I think we all get the drill. But this is the new thing for me. This is where I started. This is what brought it all together. Now I have the mic, and I'm good to go. Now, if you're looking for radio stuff, this is not a brand or product endorsement. These are just good people. Go over and go see Evan at Radio Made Easy. I'll put a link in the description. He's going to have all that stuff. Also, keep it real. I also have gotten stuff from Disco 32. Disco 32 is a good outfit as well. So both those guys are going to be able to hook you up with all this stuff and make it very simple for you. But my system basically is right here. Now, it's got to be somewhat flexible. I don't have the resources, nor do the warband, to have multiples of everything. And I'm not always going to go out with plates. What I'm doing as self-appointed field marshal of my warband is that I'm designing little practices, starting simple. For example, the next one I come up with, all right, we have a mission. We're going to go to this point. We're going to do this particular task. It could be just something simple, whatever, you make it up. I'm not going to tell you what mine are. And then, but it's levels of complexity. First off, there's a team going in at night. So we're utilizing night vision. We're also, once we have someone to drop us off, everybody's in communication, we drop off right out of the vehicle. He goes up for overwatch until a certain time, and then we have a certain amount of time to complete our task. Whether we complete it or not, we move, and then we go to an extraction point, which he meets to another one. So there's complexities, meaning you have to do something in the dark as a team, move and communicate and work together. Very simple. It's nothing where anyone's going to get lost or get hurt or anything. There's nothing illegal here. We're just having fun. We're just practicing using our equipment. So that's the reason why we're putting the importance on setting this stuff up. And I don't know how else to train. You can only watch so many videos, but you finally got to put all that stuff you've invested your money in and get out there and field it in all conditions. And so we've resolved to do that, and that's going to be an important thing. Twice a month, if we can do it, maybe more often, I will create little scenarios and increase the complexity so that we can figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I know this is all very complicated. You see all these, all these wires and stuff on dudes' vests and such. But I'll break it down for you. It's not complicated, gentlemen. It was for me, but now I understand it. Now I'm using it. Okay, so let's start with a radio. If you're going to buy a radio, if you haven't bought one yet, this is hard to beat. Less than $100. Go over and see Evan, and he'll hook you up here. He's got packages. But this is the Baofeng. What model is this? This is the UV5R Plus. And this is the one that he recommends. And these have been really good. So you start with that radio right there. Once it's programmed, you can buy the cable and program. If you've got a couple buddies, just figure it out. I'm not going to get into all the detail. There's nerds online for that. Just get this radio. And the next thing you need is going to be what they call a push-to-talk. We'll just build this out together. Right? So a push-to-talk is just what it says. It's got a big button on it. It's got a clip on it that will fit in molly gear. So it's very versatile. You could clip it on a chest rig as well as plate carrier, what have you. But it's just, you push the button. You push the button, hold and talk. Now you have a microphone on your Peltor, and then you've got comms in your ears silently, so no one else can hear it. So if you're going to do the Baofeng, you just get one of these push-to-talks. This is the Kenwood plug, the Baofeng plug, whatever. You plug this guy in here, right here. All right? So if I'm going to take this out of my plate carrier and put it into my chest rig, because I don't need armor, I'm just going to grab these two right here. Now the next is going to be an antenna. Now there's a couple options. If I'm just grab and go, I'll just put my whip on there. Whatever antenna you want, you can coil it up. Now I'll put that in a pocket. This fits perfectly inside of a magazine pocket on your chest rig. You're not in Fallujah. You don't need to have the full battle rattle. Think about less is more. For what we're doing, gentlemen, we need to be light and fast. Our MO is to know our surroundings like the back of our hands, how to move and operate in them, everything we should need to know where we would have a home field advantage. You see what I'm saying? So flexibility, versatility. So I have this antenna. Now if I'm going to put this into my plate rig, I've got a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to add an extra antenna. Evan hooked me up with this flexible one. You can see that just goes, and you've seen these before. You could just weave it in the back, and these work extraordinarily well also. You can see that's an antenna. It's a very long when you stretch it out, but you can hide it and stuff, and it's not going to get in your way. And so that's just going to stay on that plate carrier, right? And then when I want to go in here, I've got my quarter turn, I've got it, everything is set up. Now when I put my DAW on my plate carrier, I put my helmet on. What did I do with that? Did I grab my helmet? I had all my props here ready for you guys, and oh, here we go. That's where that beloved downlink comes from. That's the part I was missing. Oops. Dropped my nods on the ground there. Right there. So you put your helmet on and you snap that right into your push to talk. Boom. You're done. That's all there is to it. You got $100 for radio and a couple accessories. You know, a couple $100 and you're going. You're good. You know, not counting your Peltors. So that's really all there is to it, you know, and I'm not going to get into the technical aspects of it, dude. I'm not that guy. I always think of myself like the character on, what was the name of that movie? Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes. Was it the Donald Sutherland character when he's the tank commander and he's having an argument back and forth with his chief mechanic, and you know, and he's like, man, I don't want to hear about all that stuff. I don't know what makes them go. I just ride them. You know, that's the way I look at it. So let guys like Evan, Disco 32, those guys have already done the work for you. I'm just kind of showing you what's out there and some ideas of how to use that. So that's it. Do I have anything else to add? As far as if you want a budget option, you know, don't worry. You're like, oh, if you tuned out, you're like, oh, $800 for Comtacs. You know, that's not happening. Well, we still have guys in the warband that are using the Howard lights here. Is that what these are? I think they are. Yeah, the Howard lights. You know, these are, or they used to be, what, 60, 65 bucks? If you look at, these are indeed amplified, like the Peltors. The quality's not going to be there, but they're not bad. And they do have an option. They have a 3.5 jack on there. No, it's not the super skookum one, like, you know, the military grade ones are going to have, but at least it's something and it will work. You know, you can harden these things up. You just understand that you're going to have some reliability. It's not going to be as reliable, but you can make the stuff function. But you could do the same thing. You can go get yourself an airsoft helmet, whatever it takes to get you going and moving, get the warband going and starting to use the stuff. But there's no shame in this. If this, before I got these, I was going to go with this. I'm like, you know what, this is what I have. That's what I can use. And you can get adapters for that as well. But that ability, I'll tell you, this is a hard thing with no one. I don't have anyone to show me. So I have to learn on YouTube videos and I have to sort out what's good and what's bad. But really, the best training comes from what we get the most out of is just going out together and using this stuff. Very simply, go for a walk and then start adding in the complexities and whatever you have to do until you can have a level of proficiency. And that's going to shake out for you exactly what doesn't work. I'll close with this. I've shared this story many times, but have you heard the term a Hudson-based start? What is a Hudson-based start? Hudson-based start was fur trappers, prospectors, men that were seeking to go out and find their fortune. Maybe they had never been out in the woods before and they just decided, you know what, I'm not going to work in the factories anymore. I'm done with this. I'm going to go out and become a trapper. How do you know what you need? How do you know what equipment to put together? So they would go to the Hudson Bay trading area, like the Bass Pro Shop of the day. They would gather the things that they would need, and then they would travel a day's journey away from there. They would set up camp and they'd spend a day or two. And that would tell them very quickly what they forgot. Oh goodness, I forgot salt. Oh, I forgot this, or I have no way to do this. Then they would travel back, get what they needed, and then be in a much better position for when it got real, that they wouldn't be in need and they would have the equipment that they need. So that's what we're doing here. This is the Hudson-based start before the big struggle really comes. You don't want to be trying to find friends, network, and put together a war band in those distrusting days. Be careful who you bring into your inner circle. Don't trust just anyone, and remember, no electronics, no phones, none of that. No iPads, no smartwatches. It's map and compass. And if you want to communicate something to them, you speak to them.